Hi guys, and welcome to another movie of the week. If this is your first time here, it's basically like a book club but a movie club where every week it's a new movie and I talk about it here, and then you guys can comment below your thoughts and feelings about the movie and I'll respond to all your comments, and at the end of every video I say the movie for next week so you can prepare and follow along. If you didn't already know, the movie of the week is The Great Dictator from 1940, so watch it now if you haven't because spoilers. Now, I first just want to say Charlie Chaplin is a genius. The fact that he directs, writes, acts, and all his films are really amazing. And my first time seeing a Charlie Chaplin film was in film school, and I think it was the Gold Rush. I think it was that one. And I remember thinking, oh, we're gonna watch a silent film. But then it was so funny, and I was so glad to do so. Of course, this film is not a silent film, and it's really important why it's not. I think Charlie Chaplin, when talkies became a thing, he had trouble transitioning to talkies because a lot of, his films come from like comedic movement humor, and so being to translate that with like talking, it would take away some of the physical humor aspect. So I know once like talkies became, I love how I'm using talkies, which is what they called them then. Now we don't say that, but I'm using the terminology. Anyway, so that's what, if you didn't know, that's what they called it then when there was that transition from silent films to non. And he kind of wanted to keep his silent films just because that's the way, and he realized that there was going to be a change. But I think but this film did have talking. It wasn't silent, and I don't know if it's his first non-silent film. It might be. I should probably look it up. I feel like City Lights or Modern Times was like his film before this, and I know those are silent films, so this could have been his first non-talkie. But I just want to say, Charlie, like, you did amazing still. And I think it was important that this film did like have talking because of how important this film is, and there was moments where it did need dialogue just to like push it along or just to make the points made, which we'll talk about more later. But he did really keep the physical comedic aspect because there was moments when like the characters, and I guess I watched this on HBO Max or whatever, and so when the Hitler character is speaking in whatever tongue, it says like non-English speak, like in parentheses. And I think throughout the film, there's still such physical humor, movement humor, that is really Charlie Chaplin that he keeps throughout this film. And I think he does that really well, and the moments when people talk, it like is only when it's really needed, but it doesn't feel like, oh wow, like they're not talking that much, or oh wow, this is more of a movement film. Like, it felt right at all the great times. We're gonna talk about the significance of this film. So if you were not educated in school or whatever, if you didn't know, this is obviously about World War II, the Holocaust. It came out in 1940, which means it probably was filmed in 1939 or filmed in 1940. And it was pretty much at the beginning of World War II. And it was, a direct, like, obviously this film is attacking like Hitler and what he's doing. I didn't really realize this the first time, but he slightly changed the names. He had the place they were from, Tomania or something. Also, Charlie Chaplin's not Jewish, but I guess he played a Jewish character. Well, he was playing both characters, which is what it's interesting because people did, I don't know if people know this, but people did like comment about how Charlie Chaplin and Hitler kind of looked like similar in a way. Like, obviously they look different, but in some aspects they look similar. So it's funny that he like then actually used that in this film to play both characters, and they look I feel because they are actually the same person. They look so similar, so it's kind of weird that until like the end, which I guess the spoilers, they were like, oh my god, this is him, when like they didn't think about it early on. There is this one thing I gotta say, so kind of the opening scene of sequences is actually World War One, and I'm part of that physical communicator. You know, they're on a plane trying to get away and it flips upside down, and then it shows it upside down and like the water is coming out, like his pocket watch is like doing whatever, and just the way that like, okay, but he's on this side when it's upside down, but then it's showing it upside right, and he's on the same side when it should have been opposite sides, I think. Or maybe I'm just wrong, but I feel like they messed that up. I just like thought that when I saw it, because I was like, he should be here, so then he would be on the other side. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm trying to think. He's like upside down. Yeah, I don't know. It was something was off about that. I don't know. I might be skipping ahead, but I want to just talk about the last scene, which is why it's, I think, really important that this film did have dialogue, is because he makes this whole speech about like why is he doing this, like being a dictator, and like it's one of those known, like one of the most important speeches in movies, you know, back then, or I feel like people still would say that it's like one of the most important speeches in movies. I've seen the movie Dictator. I think that's the name of the movie. Only once. But it kind of reminds me a little bit of that movie where, in the way, I'm forgetting his name. But you know what I'm talking about. He is the dictator in the movie, and he like makes these speeches on why like the power. Well, it's a little bit different because Charlie's like saying like kind of attacking it in a way. I don't know, but I think this film is really important because like he took a risk making this film, I would say, because it was at the same time, and he made this film and it was a direct hit attacking what was happening. And so it must have taken a lot of nerve. I wonder if like people shot it down. But he just also found a way to like make fun of, you know, Hitler and who he is, and you know what, like, don't people see like how crazy and insane this is? He was able to make a film that was very important at the time, but still where it was still him, and he did make it non-silent because he knew how important to get his message along. And that scene where Hitler is playing with the globe, I've also seen that's been like a very important scene and everything. I actually took in college a film and Holocaust class, and because I was a film major, but this was actually just like a history class, and we watched like all these Holocaust movies, and I think I'd probably maybe have one of them on the list, or eventually have one of them. And there's only a few that are like more comedic, like Train of Life and Life is Beautiful. There might have been another one, and I think that was also something that people did at the time to cope, was try to like use comedy to cope. And I don't know if Charlie's exactly using comedy to cope in the situation. I think he's using his comedy and his platform because he was like literally, if not the greatest, one of the greatest filmmakers at that time. So he was using his platform and he was using his ability to try to send this message. But yeah, I think it took a lot of nerve to do it, make this film at that time. A lot of nerve, and I think this, yeah, I don't know, it's such an important movie because it took place at that time, and I think that's something that's more different than all these other Holocaust or related movies that took place afterwards, because this he did at the time when Hitler could have directly like attacked him for doing it. But yeah, I think this film is really, really important. So I hope that you guys watched it, you learned from it, everything. It wasn't clear for myself. I am Jewish. So, but nonetheless, it's, despite me being Jewish or not, it's still a film that everyone should see and everyone should learn from, because we can learn from Charlie Chaplin. But yeah, that's that movie. So please comment your thoughts and feelings about The Great Dictator. I will respond to your comments. If there's any hate, I will delete the comments, but hopefully we won't have hate. And I'll announce the movie for next week. So we're still in the 1900s with 12 Angry Men, 1957. But 12 Angry Men is such an important movie. And I swear, I looked, the next movie of the week after 12 Angry Men is in the 2000s. So afterwards we'll break it. But 12 Angry Men in 1947. Watch it for next week. Comment your thoughts on Great Dictator. And thank you guys for watching. And bye.